Hello everybody and welcome to the first Mr. D takeover video. Welcome to everyone who's new and welcome back to all those returning viewers. Today's video is on how to cut a 2-layer wooden rose using the S1 laser from Xtool. We start off by importing the file. This was purchased from Creative Fabrica, and once you've got the file loaded, first thing you need to do is just ungroup them just so you can move the two parts independently. This project has a small personalized section on the edge of the handle, and this is done easily enough by creating a text box and typing in what name you would like to use. I'm using my wife's name. Selecting the handwriting option is done by scrolling along the top where you've got different font types, selecting handwriting, scrolling down to the desired option and then selecting. Once you do, the words will automatically change to that font. At this point, I would suggest highlighting the font and making sure you select engrave on the right hand side, just so that you don't forget to do it at a later point. And also selecting the main part of the project and changing the color down the left hand side, just so it's easier to differentiate. Next up is aligning the text ready for engraving. If you have a look on the right hand side, when you select text, there's a small curved shaped. If you press that button, what it will do is it will put the text box onto a curve. This just takes a little bit of playing around and getting it how you'd like. The little button at the top will just tilt the text just so you can align it better into wherever you want. Another little trick is by zooming in, you can select the text and you can split it. This allows you to move the individual letters and get them a little bit closer or align them to however you would like. As you can see, the Y and the L make this a little bit trickier just to try and line up, just because it gives you quite a wide text. But with a little bit of perseverance and patience, you can line them up quite nicely. Once you've done that, if you just select all the text again, make sure you group it just so you can move everything in one go. This just takes a little bit of time, just making everything bigger, smaller, moving it around until you're perfectly happy with the fit. Once you are happy with everything, we then need to align to get ready to cut everything out. This is going to depend on the material that you are using. I'm using on 3mm basswood plywood, and I've got a brand new sheet, so it's just a case of lining right up against the edge just to make sure that you're getting the most material out for your projects. And one thing I learned here is just to make sure that you group both the text and the rows into one object, just so that you can move them as one. Otherwise, you'll do exactly like I did just then and things will move independently. And it's now just lining them up just to try and get them as close as you can without overlapping, just so that you can cut them and get as many out of a sheet as possible. Just before we send it to the laser, we need to make sure that the settings are correct. So selecting each of the main rows bodies and setting them to cut, and selecting the text and making sure it's engraved. Each settings are going to be different depending on the material you use. These I've got preset for the basswood plywood, which I found to be perfectly fine. However, please do change them as you see fit. It might take a little bit of practice and just adjusting the settings. Once you're happy, it's then sending to the laser to cut. What you will notice here is, although I've said that I've selected the material and the correct settings, I actually hadn't, and so I cancelled sending to the laser, came back, adjusted all my settings and got them all correct, ready to send for a second time. These projects don't take very long. As you can see, this one's just over 9.5 minutes to completely cut out to engrave. And once that's done, you can then enjoy colouring them in. I'm using a set of Posca pens, and so here we go. The final part of this project is grabbing some glue and just putting a small amount in the sections where they're going to stick together. This is a white glue, but it dries clear, so it doesn't matter if you get a tiny little bit of squeeze out. And putting them together, making sure that you just align everything and making sure it's as clean and crisp as possible. And there we have it. The final product is a personalized engraved wooden heart, ready to give to that special somebody on Valentine's Day. Please consider subscribing, as a new channel. It would really help us grow. And overall, thanks for watching and look forward to seeing you next time.